Just to piggyback off of what Mr. Calhoun said earlier about the people against the NDAA, to me, I was actually at that rally at City Hall, and having lived in Albany for 8 years, I saw that as one of the greatest grassroots victories for the people here, because we went to City Hall, we rallied as a group of relatively disorganized citizens against a federal injunction that allowed for, on the books, the federal government to come into any city in the country and say, we can detain any American citizen or not without charge indefinitely, and you no longer have the right to habeas corpus, which is a fundamental attribute of our Bill of Rights. And so seeing that Albany, New York, was the first city in the entire country to actually overrule this as unconstitutional and say, we will not enforce this law here, was really like a huge victory in my eyes of this city, and it really made me, much more proud to be a member of this community. And hearing you speak up here about a lot of the obstacles that we have with state laws and federal laws that restrict your action as mayor to make changes that are similar to that in even a much smaller level, because this is really a huge victory for civil liberties. I guess I was wondering if you could comment on sort of where do we draw the line in terms of civil action, and where do we draw the line? Where do you draw the line in terms of how we can make steps as a community to take back our city? Because from my standpoint, it starts with grassroots, it starts on the local community level, and it starts with a mayor and a city council and the people working together to make those changes. And if we're not organized and all on the same page with those kinds of things together, and we don't say, all right, I know the state says that you can only have a 25 minimum speed limit in our neighborhood, but I live in Center Square, and I've almost gotten hit by a car several times walking around.
Don't you think 25 is too fast?
It is too fast.
It should be 20.
Why can't we go and say, okay, let's replace those signs ourselves? You know what I'm saying? Because what's the state do? I mean, do you think the state troopers honestly are going to come in and take our signs down?
So what would happen though is if any police officer that tickets somebody for exceeding 20 miles an hour, the ticket would get tossed. Right? It wouldn't be enforceable. So, but to your point,
it would be enforceable in the state or the city, because it's city court.
It's a state court, even though it's city court. It is all of our courts are under the state unified court system. So we appoint and elect city court judges, but they are paid by our state court system. They are enforcing state law. So. In any event, though, to your point, though, I think that people really underestimate the power that they have. And when people get involved, we have to listen. And so, we're constantly being barraged in any elected official. We're constantly being barraged by people who have issues that are of importance to them. And we can't possibly have enough resource to take from start to finish every project that is put in front of us or every hot button issue that comes our way. We just don't have the capacity to do it. And I think people really underestimate the power that they have. And that's why when I talk about not just engaging but empowering the community, it's getting people to realize that they have tremendous power. So yeah, you know what? Go and, Pat Fahey will introduce the legislation, and we need you to go to the halls of state government and say, this is important, and we want this done, and we want it done now. But I was at a shooting response, and actually there was a shooting response tonight that I wasn't able to go to, but I was at a shooting response on 2nd Ave, and the person who was leading the shooting response said, let's declare this a safe zone. And a woman in the crowd said, well, can we do that? Do we have the ability to do that? And then somebody else said, well, the mayor's here, ask her. And, but it shows, right? I mean, that sense of disempowerment, right? I said, of course you can declare this a safe zone.
National security's a code word for cover up. Hold that down. I look at character.
The agencies against we the people. Don't stoop, don't grovel to no government steeple. We can force anyone to make a new choice when we build a movement, each raising our voice.